Welcome to the Dr.Phil show. Today we're going to have special guest Robert Kennedy Jr. on. I want to just talk for a brief couple minutes about the state of our country. You got to be a complete idiot or brain dead to not see what's going on and to not acknowledge America's dying, whether you folks know it or not. But here's just a small clip to preview my episode of Robert F. Kennedy explaining how we're owned. Brought to you by Browning and Hunter Nation. The Russians tried to settle very, very beneficial Ukraine. The major thing was for us to keep NATO out of Ukraine. The big military contractors want to add NATO all the time because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, Boeing, Lockheed, get trapped market. In March 2022, we committed $113 billion. Just to give you an example, if you build a home for almost every homeless person in our country, another $24 billion since then, 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for $60 billion. This war in Ukraine's no good for America. Things have been destroyed, and Mitch McConnell says to spend $113 billion more in Ukraine. He says, don't worry, it's not really going to Ukraine, it's going to American defense manufacturers. So he just admitted a money laundering scheme. It's Blackrock. During the Republican debate, he said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. Raise your head if you think that loan's getting paid back. Of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because they can impose loan conditions that will impose on them, number one, an extreme program so that if you're poor, you're going to be poor forever. Number two, most important, Ukraine has to pull all of its government-owned assets up for sale. All these corporations, Ukraine can feed the world. The biggest single asset in Europe and Ukraine there has thousands of years a war fought over the farmland. It's the breadbasket of Europe. 500,000 kids, almost Ukrainian kids, have died to keep that land as part of Ukraine. They almost certainly didn't. About this, they've already sold 30% of it. The buyers were DuPont, Cargill, Monsanto. Who do you think owns all these companies? Blackrock. In December, President Biden gave out the contract to rebuild Ukraine. And who do you think got that contract? Blackrock. So there it is right in front of us, my fellow Americans. That the owners, there are people that own this country. They own it. Just like George Carlin used to say, they own you. And they're going to continue to get away with this if something's not done and we don't get together and work together as Democrats and Republicans like I'm doing with President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard to save America and make it great again. Folks, that's just one little clip about Blackrock coming up on the next Dr. Phil show. Tune in. And next week, I'm going to have Joe Rogan on. Be smart, vote right, and make America great again.